What is up guys, Wraec is here with a new video, and today we want to take a look at one of the best Transcendence heroes in the game. Well, I would have said so probably like 2 years ago, and now no longer really the best, but it's also the start of the new series. The new series are already announced on Discord. We're going to take a look at every single Transcendence hero in the game. We're going to max them out as far as you can on my account. We're going to make them absolutely insane. We're going to see what they can do. I'm going to explain their skills to you, why they're great in my opinion, or why they are not that great in my opinion. And then we have a complete series with basically a video on every single hero, which I absolutely like. We're going to go in order of their release. By now we have a ton of heroes to cover, starting with SFX, next SQH, etc. So they're going to see a ton of heroes. We do have S or above copies now up until Finn. So nearly everybody. We don't have a copy of Finn. We can make one. And then we have Sylvie, so we have S or above for everybody else, which is pretty crazy. But today, the spotlight is there for SFX 241 million attack. Tell me down in the comments if you've ever seen a bigger SFX. I haven't. This is Destiny rank 6. This is SS tier. We have skill damage, giant killer on that. We have nearly 9k attack. We have soul power. We have a Spectre Star Soul, max Spectre Star Soul. So the madness is there as well. V4 full tree as well with the core, and then of course Nirvana Destiny rank 6. So we're going to see every single ability today. Let's get down. Let's start off with some of her core abilities and maybe some gameplay around it. So I was asked by Lex to be put in the video, or well, he asked me that I put him in the video, and we're going to do that. And the thing that I want to show you guys now is what essentially made SFX be an outstanding hero back in the day. It was an ability that we haven't seen too much by then, and it was a 100% dodge chance for the next attack after she did her basic skill or active skill. The layer that she got was a layer called Sharpness, and she even had a 25% chance to get 2 of those, and we can see this very wonderfully here. Well, we could see it if we did get CC'd there, which is a little bit of a sadness. We're going to see it on the next round, I hope, if we aren't CC'd. So after she attacks, now she has Sharpness. Next one, Dodge. She counterattacks even, and this counterattack can pack quite a punch. And then we have her Destiny skill, which... and Impeccable Flow active skills. That was an Impeccable Flow active skill. So what is Impeccable Flow? We kind of have to explain that as well. Well, Impeccable Flow is after her basic attack or active skill kill an enemy, she gains 1 layer of Impeccable Flow, and this enhances either her basic or active skill depending on what she does next, and makes, well, the active skill hit the entire team, which is quite iconic, because if we try that again, same CC, man has a Wukong, we can see the active skill that we are going to do now. That is only going to hit 1 single enemy there. So you're not even going to kill that Finn. The counterattack is now she shines brightly. She has those little light spikes there. And this means Impeccable Flow is loaded. And the enemy team got killed by her DT skill instead. But that doesn't matter. She would then hit a very ginormous active skill. This is the combination of both of those were quite threatening, because this... Void Crusher, as the ability is called, this was basically the biggest damage in the game. You have to imagine, this was the only Transcendence hero we had. And the next one was SQH, so even during that time, there wasn't really a damage dealer that could keep up with that. So seeing an Impeccable Flow active skill from an SFX hitting the entire enemy team, deleting that, madness. And you can still do that today. If we, for example, go into Realmsgate, pretty cool. I want to show you guys what she can do at like 170 Void Corruption in Realmsgate. We can fight a new Gagi team, 15 Divine Power on that, and maybe we just go in with this team. The wonderful thing is we can keep her in slot 1, because another way for her to get Impeccable Flow is to dodge or block 5 attacks. Blocking 5 attacks is incredibly easy if you have some train in PvE. It's actually something that you can very easily accomplish. We can see an example of that in Void Campaign against the Gustin stage in a second. And even makes it easy to even get an Impeccable Flow active skill on turn 1. But now we can see Impeccable Flow, active skill. It looks still like in the past, I have to say that. Maybe we got a little bit of damage taken away by the DGN, but let's try if she can solo that. I wonder about that. Let's try if she can solo that. And I would say, like, really, this is also about a little bit about experimenting. It is about experimenting. We take the new Phoenix this time. We have the core on her. Her core is pretty cool. This was one of the older ones where we still had cool cores. Doesn't really happen anymore. This little extra hit after the counterattack. This one is actually quite neat. Double attack. Have you seen that? That is still in the game. In some situations, she just attacks twice. She just attacks twice. Cool that we had this example right here, even though we didn't win the fight and would have needed some support on that. Maybe we can finish it instead. The less enemy heroes are on the board, the stronger she gets. Why is that the case? Well, because, well, she has a chance to dodge, and having a chance to dodge an attack means the less enemies there are, the more chance to dodge we have. And yeah, she can double attack. So this is kind of mean. Stat nowhere in her skills. Should probably win that at one point though. I should probably stop showing off with this here and start to win that. This is probably enough. Yeah, and this double attack, I don't know. It is just in the game. It happens when she has Impeccable Flow and sometimes when she does a basic attack. And this has saved me on many occasions, if I'm honest. So this is pretty cool. And if you then let us build a regular team around her, you can see alone she can't really survive. But if we add some heroes to that team, and just a few support heroes here are enough for 170. I mean, we have these stats. That is something that we should add as well. For a little bit of shield, a little bit of CC. CC really, when Transcendence Heroes were released, wasn't really a big thing. But nonetheless, she can profit from it quite a bit. Because if I now go into Void Campaign, and arguably this is an SFX that is as big as it can get, and yeah, we can get this as well. She just got Impeccable Flow and decided to attack again. This is, by the way, this is not super OP. In terms of damage output, even a twice attacking SFX usually doesn't keep up with like a DTV. Maybe we should kind of put the expectations a little bit back into a cage, because we can trigger actually an Impeccable Flow active skill right here, and we can make this SFX do as much damage as she can probably do. So you can see right here we have speed attack. We will switch that to precision. We will put attack on here. We will put lethal fight back on here. We will put mightiness on here. Balance strike as well. And while we are here, we will also take a look at her Destiny skills. So at the Wraec, after releasing active skill basics, for every 2 layers of transition power owned by self, deals 600 attack damage to 1 random enemy and can be triggered up to 6 times. Fun thing, if you had Impeccable Flow back in the day, this used to hit every single enemy and just instantly delete the entire enemy team after releasing the first active skill, which was quite fun. Don't have the video sadly anymore. But I used to have a video from Soul, I think it was, where he just started a fight, SFX attacked, and of course, this is an assassin, has huge speed, and she would just delete the entire enemy team. But that was the fun times. The best thing that you can really equip in this is, I would just go with active skill, and on this one, you just have some damage options. The interesting part is in the 4th one. Here I just go with less attack. Here you can get 3 layers of Impeccable Flow. So you can get a ton of Impeccable Flow, guaranteeing that you have it nearly all the time after you really start doing damage with that. And much more isn't really in it. It's not a very spectacular DT, we have to say that. It used to be OP in the beginning, now it really isn't. So we have all the damage that we can get right here. We have skill and precision. We have all the damage that we can get right here. And with this, we are going to go into Void Campaign. By the way, also we are super fast, just want to mention that. And still no chance to actually outspeed those enemies. So those guys all hit slot 1. What does that mean? We get to block 5. Okay, words, block 5 attacks, and this means Impeccable Flow on turn 1, meaning our first active skill is an Impeccable Flow active, and yeah, didn't do anything. Yep, sadness. Our second one will be 2, by the way. It's kind of funny. We will get another one there. They will actually heal up completely in the meantime. And then we get the double attack. And I mean, damage-wise, it wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad. Only problem is that we're probably now going to die before we actually get to do any damage here. Can we get another attack? I mean, I don't know about you guys, but to me, this doesn't scream we are going to clear this stage. I don't know. I mean, lacks a little bit of damage, I guess. So, this fight was way beyond anything that I have ever seen, I'll be honest with you guys. This was, if there ever was a fight where she can win, then this was it. This was madness. And still there was no chance. I mean, you could argue that she might do more damage with another artifact. We use the Endless Cane here. I like the extra skill damage actually. You could of course go for Melodic Strings, and this is a little bit more damage. We can try this again. But still, nonetheless, will be a little bit of a disappointment. And rightfully, I have to say, I mean, if you look into the meta, do you see anybody using her? The answer is no. And sadly, I have to say, they are probably right. While you can make her look good for a second, yeah, that was one single ping from Balance Strike. I'm going to spare you the rest of this, because this does take an eternity. And yeah, so sadly, against this stage, you probably wouldn't do very well with SFX. And this, yeah, I kind of have to say she didn't really get the DT skill that we wanted to. Back in the day, I remember that I really wished she would get a great DT skill, and SFX was like my favorite hero. And then she got this one that really doesn't do a whole lot if you compare it to others, and isn't quite that spectacular. One thing I want to look at with you guys though, and that we haven't really mentioned yet, is the core. The core is quite cool and is often overlooked because we don't really use the hero. So when obtaining Impeccable Flow, grants Flow Incarnation to all allies. We can get Impeccable Flow, by the way, through the DT skill now, so this is even easier than before. And Flow Incarnation increases the owner's all damage dealt and reduces damage taken equal to 80% of the owner's attack, and gets not stackable, and you can of course upgrade it by just having 6 cores on the team. And this makes it even better and gives you 30% all damage dealt. So this is a pretty cool skill. And it's one of the rare cores where you actually have a design associated with it, or like an animation. For many of those cores, this is not the case anymore, which is a little bit sad in my opinion. But here we do still have it. So I want to show you guys this. So once we get a kill with her, we got the kill, you can see all of our heroes shine a little bit. And the first cores, they mostly put real effort. We will see another great animation for that on ATD. And yeah, this is like one of the animations that we have for cores. And it's pretty strong. You have a pretty strong damage reduction effect, pretty strong all damage dealt, especially if you run 2 or 3 damage dealers on a team, which you can do, of course. And in a sense, we also do with the nice damage screens that you get when you use Phoenix. Maybe we shouldn't use Phoenix then. Yeah, you kind of get to profit quite a lot from it, and it's a pretty cool core. So it's definitely one thing that I would definitely recommend. We could even activate it on the Gustin stage just by having her be hit 5 times there and grant another hero 30% all damage dealt. So if that is something that you want, it's another way to actually look into getting damage on such a stage. So against this Gustin stage, a little bit of a team hack there. But I feel like she looks in that a little bit like in the old days. So for her, history-wise, the most important thing is really that she was the first Transcendence hero. And for that, I mean, she was a decent upgrade in terms of power over other heroes. If you can imagine, like invested in SFX, I remember that was still the best way to clear, what was it? Was it Vanquisher? Void Vortex? Because we didn't have that many strong heroes there, and then you needed like an A- SFX, and I had that. And that was an absolute madness. Let's get a little bit more of a deep dive for a second in terms of her skills. So we saw the active skill. You really want the sublimation there to get the third attack, armor ignoring damage, 960%. It's really good. For the basic skill, this is a pretty strong basic skill. It has many hits, had 6 hits in there, which is pretty insane. So there are some videos in the past that say you want to have skill power for the basic attack. Skill damage actually only for the active skill, just so that you know that, which is still pretty decent. I mean, this still has like 4 hits, and you can get like 4 times skill damage on that, so you can nearly get 1,000 skill damage, for example, with the setup I had a second before, like this. This is 926% skill damage, so this is a pretty substantial upgrade over the damage here. You get this 4 times, so yeah, substantial upgrade definitely. Interesting parts are here. After releasing the active skill or basic attack, we get the Layer of Sharpness. We saw this before. 100% chance to dodge the next active skill or basic attack received. And deals armor ignoring damage by 1200% against the enemy with the lowest HP. And then what we have to keep in mind, it has 33% chance to deal extra damage by 25% of max HP against all enemies. This is a substantial damage, a very substantial damage. And when you have the deep sublimation, the cap goes up to 5000%. This is insane. So like if you get to hit this 25% and then this 2 times, you have 10,000% damage against the entire enemy team. This is madness. And dodging 2 attacks on top of that. The dodge, something that I want to talk about as well. Dodge is more common now. Dodge wasn't common in the past. The heroes that had dodge were a little bit OP. Carrie, for example, was considered one of the most powerful heroes. And part of that was, of course, that she had dodge. Then we had one thing that countered dodge, and that was a Starspawn. And the Starspawn that countered dodge gave us dodge offset. You can get like 20% if you have a decent enough percent roll here. 20% dodge offset, and this works also against SFX. So if the SFX is 100% dodge and you have 20% dodge offset, 80% chance that she still dodges, but well, it's a little bit better then. So that is something to note, and furthermore, there can be additional dodge offset sources in Treasure Train, just to keep that in mind. And also, well, some heroes ignore dodge entirely. One notable one would be Interstellar Hunter Patricia, and when we check out her Interstellar Armament, we can see ignoring 100% of the armor damage reduction, all damage reduction, block, dodge. Another example that we just can quickly throw in there, or I don't have him set up actually, is DTV. DTV, just with this weakness disclosure, increased self damage reduction, ignores everything, including dodge. So there are ways to ignore dodge right now, and that of course makes this a little bit weaker. And then other things there are that you just can't dodge. We had one prominent example of things that you can't really dodge is actually wonderfully set up here by Bossanak. I don't think he planned to do that for this, but maybe we just let's do that. He has a Wukong in there, so he can't stun us. But what we can do is we can use the Deific Candy Cane, which gives us actual stun immunity. So we are double CC immune actually. And if we now go in there with our SFX and maybe not the Phoenix, otherwise we don't have a damage screen. Can set up her core as well, doesn't matter. And we just go in there. We will see that this LBM will actually kill us, and other forms of passive damage will too. Even if we were to dodge that, his passive damage of the counter attacks or her burn Deskus all still kill us. So that isn't really too easy to dodge all the damage. Dodging does no longer really mean that we escaped the entire attack. It means we escaped part of it, but many things, mark damage, will still hit us. Passive damage, all damage from passive skills in general is passive damage. So even another SFX dodging and triggering the sharpness effect, that would still hit us. The only things that don't hit us or that we can dodge are active skills and basic attacks, unless they have an effect on there that counters dodge as well. So dodge is far from being this 100% secure defense mechanic that it was in the past. It works to sufficient degree still in Void Campaign, but we have to keep in mind she's no longer the important damage dealer there. And also on top of that, the balancing in Void Campaign is far from what it was in the past. You can't really quickly deal with enemies anymore. That is sadly the case, unless you really build into something into Insane Burst, SSM, X tier, but that is something for the future, spoilers. And then we can't, so we have to go over multiple rounds, and then we have to avoid damage, and dodge is in theory good if we get it from PDE, for example, but for her alone, dodging a little bit does no longer change the fight entirely, so that is a bit of a sadness. Lastly, Will of the Sword, we already saw it. This is our source of Impeccable Flow, the standard source. For every dodge or block, we also increase our attack by 1%, isn't too insane. And we get 50 energy for every lay of Impeccable Flow, which we can see we get another 3 here, so this is another big source of energy. And overall, we now have a pretty easy time gaining a ton of Impeccable Flow, which just isn't enough to really make this work. I made a little bit of a better PvP team, and we can check this out as well. I saw a pretty insane enemy. We have plenty of cars here with a pretty cool team, and I want to fight him a little bit. And the team that I set up for this is just about here. We have our Broken Spaces 11 team, it says. Isn't super insanely set up. We don't have a Star Soul here. We have Star Soul here, though. We have Sylvie in the team. I thought this would be pretty cool. And this is about what I wanted to do. We are far from my max power, but I thought, let's do SFX in current PvP. So we have a little bit of counterattacks there. She's still standing over here, dodging the attack. We see the big damage there on all of the enemies. She's just got hit already. Just a little bit sad. Can't dodge the counterattacks there. The shield is important. So far so good. We're still living. And there we are dead without really any impact on the fight. It feels a little bit like watching your average assassin really in those fights, I have to say. Like when you have a low C, it's probably a little bit better because we have some more passive damage. She has a chance to actually kill this enemy Wukong, which is kind of cool when she does. Come on. We're supposed to dodge that. Miss SFX. She forgot to dodge. There she dodged. Okay, didn't dodge the one before, but we have Impeccable Flow. So the question is, can we survive long enough to actually make use of it? We are fast. That is, I guess, good. So Spectre is on there. No. I guess the damage reduction at least worked out. Tanked that fairly well. And died to passive damage. And that is really the thing. Do you see how we just got defeated? This is just LBM. This is nothing here did damage to us other than the LBM. We split it a little bit more fair. But LBM we can avoid with X tier, so that isn't really the threat. I just thought that it kind of looked cool when we do this fight. Yeah, it is a little bit difficult to really get to the point where we do a proper kill on an enemy and get through with that. So oftentimes we get Impeccable Flow not by killing an enemy here, but by triggering either our Destiny transition, which is very important. The Destiny transition in this situation actually allows us to every now and then have an Impeccable Flow active skill. So I hope we maybe get on it on the next fight. That would be fairly cool. Just to see an Impeccable Flow active skill against this enemy team. I think it could happen unless this LFA nukes us to hell and back, which we hopefully won't. Ooh, LBM. Go on, SFX, survive, please. Okay, we live. Okay, we get the double attack. We get the double attack. We get the double. Oh, we died to LBM. I mean, you can see that it is not that bad. It is not that bad. The good thing was always about her, and maybe we choose the wrong Spectre. We choose the wrong Star Soul for that a little bit. The thing was, if you had a big SFX with high damage, what you could do was take the basic attack to attack, because this has 6 hits, which is better. This is just 4, so you always end up in Unbending Will. This is 6 hits, so what you can do is you use a non-energy artifact, something like A and B. You let her attack, you hope that the basic is enough to kill an enemy, and then you have your SFX set up for the next round to do an Impeccable Flow active skill. So that was pretty cool. Didn't really happen right now. We got the double attack though, which is pretty cool. If you want to get an insta-kill, that is something you can go for if you are a Wayland fighting somebody weaker, probably. And you can't do that with Spectre. Spectre gives you energy on turn 1, so even if you use A and B, we have energy. So that is a little bit of a sadness. Maybe let's switch this up still. So the speed here that we are using, 3276. Artifact was Lingering Melody of the Universe. We can maybe try something else. We can try to go with A and B. We have the Augus Scroll, that's the upgraded A and B with extra block. Extra block works fairly well with her, because from blocking we also get Impeccable Flow, you understand? So that's the flow in that works rather nice. It's Impeccable Flow after all. So let's try that again. Let's see if she's a little bit more tanky. It is tough to kind of fight the damage over time. Yeah, Wukong judged her. That is kind of sad. I mean, we can get energy reduced still, I guess. I mean, by Snowheart. Didn't really think too much about that. Can get our energy reduced there. But she has like no very good way to counter LBM. The dodge isn't really a good way, but you can see with Augus Scroll and having a huge SFX, even while she provided nothing for this fight really, she just stood there and survived fairly well towards the end. I think that was mostly because of the big attack. I mean, she hit nobody. So that is a bit of a sadness. You can see the dodge there. We didn't hit the 25%. Maybe we get Impeccable Flow. We get Impeccable Flow quite often. Like even from the hits, we get it quite often. The Destiny transition skill, I'm always a little bit confused about that, because usually we should get it, but sometimes you don't, and yeah, then it's weird. Yeah, or LBM doesn't have a Nova Spectre. So yeah, that was mostly what I wanted to show about SFX. We showed her a little bit in PvE, we showed her a little bit in PvP, we explained the skills a little bit. Is this now a hero that I would recommend? No, not really. I think you can do more, especially if you use such an investment. Spectre, probably not the right star soul to go for with her. I don't know what necessarily would be. Probably I would just go, what would I go? I wanted to go with Spectre because it has the biggest PvE viability. For PvP, I would have to switch it up. You wouldn't go Nova. You would maybe go Pupil, honestly. Maybe you would go Pupil. So just go for super high attack on that SFX, because Pupil has the highest attack from Destiny Trail. That would be nice. Or even Bloom Genesis. Works out if you go for that. Spectre with the base energy gain you probably wouldn't want, though still at the current timing. I mean, like, even if you are a whale, back in the day the distance between whales was a little bit higher. Like, I remember the times when we had those heroes. At that point you could just go with like one single whale. A person like Jesus would solo an entire guild. It doesn't work anymore. The people are too close together now. They have treasure trains that are percentage wise closer together. And that ends up, I mean, if you buy an account with treasure train and everything, there are accounts with big treasure train that are sold for fairly small amounts. So they are all a little bit closer together, and that ends up with some strategies that rely on a little bit of distance not really working. So probably, I mean, would you run an SFX? She's too much main carry right now. See, she doesn't have like the support utility, you know. That is the problem. If she has support utility, if she added to the team, I think she might have had a chance. But she's like really, SFX is just SFX, and she needs nobody else, and helps nobody else really aside from her core. And that is not enough anymore. That is not enough. Then she competes with other carries, and then we have Interstellar Hunter Patricia, and like there's no chance. She ignores all the damage, she can nuke entire enemy teams, and at the same time still has insane support for your team. Like, this hero has insane support for your team. It's actually madness. The all damage reduction and everything that you can give your entire team. SFX can't keep up with that at all, and that is a little bit sad. And I hope that they never fix the double attack bug, because this is still super iconic. And probably if you are very lucky, you might still get her to be viable, at least in PvP a little bit. So I hope you enjoyed this this little review of SFX with Big Whale SFX. I will probably have her set up for 1 or 2 more days. So if there's anything specific you still want to see, just let me know down in the comments. Maybe we make another video, and then we will switch to the next hero, which is going to be SQH. So that is going to be cool. You know, as we go by release order, you know all the next heroes to come in the order they will be. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did, and also subscribe to the channel. 70% of you guys are not subscribed to the channel. And if you want to have an SSS tier or S tier or whatever copy too, check out SG Hub, Discord. Link is down in the description. Always cheap starry gems, so definitely recommend you check that out. A lot cheaper than in game. Should never buy in game, because 100 USD on SG Hub is like 19 USD if you just buy 20k. 19 USD per 2,500, so 152 in total. If you buy 20k, so that is an absolutely ton cheaper than in game. And by the way, also better than any pack you can buy in game to just buy starry gems. So that kept in mind, I wish you a great day. We'll see us in the next one.